Okay, let's unpack this. If your goal, professionally speaking, is boosting brand visibility, building credibility, maybe driving growth, well, strong media relationships are key. Always have been. That part hasn't changed.
No, that's fundamental.
But the way we build them,
Yeah.
the whole landscape,
Oh,
it's completely different than even 5 years back.
totally unrecognizable.
Yeah, forget bustling newsrooms, those random press events, grabbing a quick coffee down the street with an editor.
Those days are, well, largely gone for many.
The whole context for connecting with journalists, with editors, it's had this massive shift, like seismic. And our sources are backing this up. They're saying virtual outreach, hybrid work. That's the standard now for what, over 70% of comms pros in the press?
That's the number we're seeing. Distance is the new default setting.
So that brings us to our mission for this deep dive. We need to figure out the specific, deliberate strategies you need to build that rapport, that trust, when you're not in the same room.
We're basically mapping out relationship building for this digital-first era.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, I mean, think about it. Organic networking, that whole idea.
Yeah.
It's pretty much been replaced by the intentional schedule, you know? We're not relying on bumping into someone in the hallway anymore.
Or that quick handshake after a panel.
Right. Now, pretty much every interaction needs some thought behind it. It has to be strategic.
Okay, but that sounds a little cold, maybe. Strategic interactions.
Well, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. It's important, I think, for you listening to see both sides here.
Okay.
Yeah, there are definitely challenges. You know, feeling isolated, gaps in communication.
Yeah.
You miss those spontaneous moments, for sure.
The water cooler effect, basically.
Exactly. But the upsides, they can be huge. Flexibility means you can connect with people anywhere, geographically.
Yeah.
No more nightmare travel logistics for a quick chat.
And think about the time saved, right? No commute. If you actually use that time well.
That's the key, if you use it well.
It could mean more time for digging deep, for actual relationship stuff.
Precisely. Your potential network just exploded because location isn't the main barrier anymore.
But, okay, here's the tension, right? How do we keep that connection deep? Like it used to feel when we were face-to-face, but now we're just screens apart.
That's the core question. And this deep dive, well, we're going to explore how distance doesn't automatically mean weaker relationships. It just changes the effort involved.
Right, different kind of effort. So let's jump into that segment one. How do we actually replace that handshake?
Yeah.
Virtually.
Okay.
The sources seem really clear on this. Your success basically comes down to adapting, really leaning into the human elements you pick up on video calls.
Human elements.
Yeah, stop treating these calls like just data dumps, you know? Transactional.
Right. So we're talking about noticing the small things, the unscripted stuff that kind of cuts through the formal meeting vibe.
Exactly. Like, what specifically should people be looking for?
Well, the sources mention things like, you know, if a reporter's dog starts barking in the background.
Happens all the time.
Right. Or you spot maybe a cool collection of vintage cameras behind them. Or they've got this amazing bunch of plants.
Okay, so you see those things. Then what?
You acknowledge them. You comment on the dog, ask about the cameras.
Yeah.
You know, you see them, the person, not just the journalist covering a beat.
Ah, okay, so it's about signaling you see them as a whole person.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is why that actually works so well.
Tell me.
In this sort of professional digital space, genuine reactions, a bit of vulnerability, that's pretty rare.
True. Everything feels very curated.
Right. So when you show real interest in those little personal details, you're basically saying, hey, I'm human too. It breaks down those professional walls way faster than like a formal intro ever could.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So building on that, the sources also hammer home this idea of intentional over-communication.
Intentional over-communication.
Yeah, apparently what might have felt like, you know, saying things twice in person, that's now essential. It's the scaffolding for trust when you're remote.
Right, because you lose all those subtle cues you get in person.
But wait a minute. Intentional over-communication.
Yeah.
How do you do that without just being annoying or sounding like you're constantly checking up on them?
That's a really good question because it's not about just more noise.
Okay.
It's about better quality, higher frequency of like confirmation, making sure you're both on the same page.
So practically, what does that look like?
It means maybe clarifying deadlines twice, just a quick check, repeating the key takeaway in your follow-up email, using really clear, unambiguous language, no jargon if you can help it.
Okay.
And one technique the sources really push is how you end a virtual pitch meeting.
Yeah.
Don't just ask any questions. Instead, try asking something like, what questions do I haven't answered yet? Or maybe, what part of this idea feels least clear to you right now?
So you're proactively seeking out the confusion.
Exactly. Because if you just assume silence means everyone agrees when you're remote, well,
Yeah.
you're probably setting yourself up for problems down the line.
Yeah, I can see that proactive approach.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it leads right into what the sources call psychological safety.
Mm-hmm.
Now, usually I hear that term about internal teams, right? Making your own team feel safe. But how does that apply here with, like, external media contacts? What does that even look like in a PR relationship?
It's absolutely crucial in this context, too. Psychological safety here means the journalist feels, 1, genuinely heard, and 2, critically, that they can speak up.
Speak up how?
Like push back on an idea they think is weak, or tell you honestly why something won't work without worrying it's going to burn the bridge or damage the relationship long term.
Okay, so they need to feel safe enough to be candid. How do you build that safety?
Well, you actively ask for feedback, even on pitches that got rejected. Ask why.
Ooh, that takes guts.
It does,
Yeah.
but it shows respect. And when they do push back on an angle, you respond calmly, non-defensively. You listen.
Don't get precious about your idea.
Exactly. And maybe the most powerful thing, share your own uncertainties sometimes. Admit when you don't have the answer right away, or if a timeline seems really tight. That transparency builds huge trust.
Okay, that makes total sense. Build the human connection, over-communicate intentionally, create safety. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So once that foundation is there, let's move into segment 2. What are the actual tools, the communication strategies we need to replace being in the same office?
Right, the practical stuff.
And a consensus seems pretty unanimous on this one. Video calls are king.
Oh, absolutely. They're essential. They just transform the connection because you're capturing expressions, reactions, body language, stuff that email or even a phone call completely misses.
You can actually see if someone's interested, right?
Yeah. Being able to see those nonverbal cues in real time, that's the remote version of reading the room. You can spot if a journalist, say, leans in when you hit a certain point.
Or their eyes light up.
Or their eyes light up, exactly. And those cues, they should guide how you talk. You can adjust your pitch on the fly in a way you can't do over the phone.
Okay, so video is baseline, which leads us to what the sources are calling a sort of secret weapon for building rapport that isn't just about getting a story placed right now.
Yes. The virtual coffee chat.
Tell me about these.
So these are short, like 15, maybe 20 minutes max, informal sessions.
Okay.
And the absolute key, according to our sources, no agenda. And critically, no pitch.
No pitch at all.
Zero pitch. You're just there to chat, talk about industry trends, maybe share thoughts on a recent news cycle, or honestly just check in, ask how their workload is. Keep it human.
Okay, but hang on. If I'm a busy reporter and someone asks for 20 minutes of my time and promises not to pitch, isn't there a risk I just feel like my time is being wasted if there's no immediate payoff for me?
That's the perceived risk, but it's also why it's so effective.
How so?
Journalists appreciate these pressure-free moments precisely because most PR outreach is transactional. It's extractive. They get pitched constantly.
It breaks the pattern.
Exactly. The value you're delivering is respect. Respect for their time, their expertise, their beat. You're building long-term relational capital. You're showing you value them and their insights, not just the potential placement right this second.
So it's an investment. Pure relationship investment.
It's pure investment, not extraction. That's the difference.
Got it. Okay. So beyond these giggle chaps, you also need to maintain, what do the sources call it? Consistent digital visibility.
Mm-hmm. Visibility.
Yeah, using places like Slack channels, if you're in shared ones, or LinkedIn messages. Not just for formal pitches, but for quick thoughts. Sharing relevant articles.
Yes, and consistency is absolutely the key word there. It's about showing up regularly, staying on their radar, but without overwhelming them with constant requests.
So like a quick Slack DM saying, hey, saw your article on X, that point about why was really interesting, that kind of thing.
Exactly that. It maintains the connection, shows you're paying attention with very little effort, honestly. Keeps the relationship warm.
And if you're managing a PR team that's spread out, maybe working remotely, organization becomes critical, right?
Oh, paramount.
Absolutely. Our research brought up this important point about using centralized hubs. Platforms like Slack or Teams or Asana maybe, to coordinate everything.
Yes. When your team is scattered across time zones, using a central platform like that, It kills those endless, confusing email chains.
Thank goodness.
Right. It creates transparency. Everyone can see who's talking to whom, track responses.
Wow.
But the real gold, I think, is using it to keep detailed notes.
Notes about what?
About each journalist, their preferences, past interactions. Did reporter A mention they absolutely hate getting pitches before 10 a.m.?
Right. Or reporter B only wants B2B case studies.
Exactly. Capturing those details systematically allows your whole team to be intentional and personalized at scale. Nothing falls through the cracks.
Okay, scaling intentionality. I like that. Speaking of intentionality, let's move to segment 3. This is about building goodwill that goes way beyond just landing one story.
Long-term thinking.
Yeah. That digital recognition. It has to be more meaningful than just a standard thanks for the coverage email, right?
Much more. Those canned emails feel obligatory. Real recognition efforts are powerful because they publicly validate the journalist's work and expertise. That's currency for them.
And goodwill for you later.
Exactly. And the sources had some great, really specific ideas for how to show appreciation in a memorable way.
Okay, give us some examples. What works?
Well, instead of emails, send a quick personalized thank you video, like literally 30 seconds on your phone. It takes 5 minutes, but it stands out.
Nice. What else?
Feature their specific article, maybe with a quote, in your company's newsletter. Or even create a regular feature like a media partner spotlight, internally or externally, highlighting great collaborations.
I like that, validating the partnership.
And never, ever underestimate social media. Tag them in a post when you share their story. Publicly acknowledge their great work. It boosts their visibility too.
That makes sense. That public validation shows you respect their independence, their influence.
Yeah.
It's not just about your brand.
Precisely. But relationships aren't just about work recognition, are they? There's the social element too.
Right. And remotely, that casual networking, the social stuff, it doesn't just happen. You have to plan it.
You absolutely have to plan it. It needs intentional effort to replicate or at least mirror that casual connection.
So what are we talking about? Hosting virtual events?
Yeah, proactively setting up virtual networking things, replacing the office water cooler or the after-work drinks, maybe bi-weekly online happy hours or like a coffee and current events chat group.
But the key is making them actually social. Right, not just another meeting.
Yes. Genuinely social. I know a team that did like a virtual trivia night themed around worst PR disasters.
Oh, wow, that's brave.
It was hilarious, self-deprecating fun, or maybe a virtual wine tasting, or just a casual roundtable on a non-work topic. The goal is levity, bringing that human interaction back.
Getting people to relax together online.
Exactly. And related to this, we can't forget the power of that proactive non-pitch outreach we touched on earlier.
Right, reaching out to editors or reporters you genuinely admire.
Yeah, and just asking for 20 minutes. An informational chat.
So again, not to pitch a story right then,
Yeah.
but specifically to ask about what their beat, what gets them excited.
Or even just, how do you prefer getting pitches? What works best for you?
Ah, okay.
It shows huge respect up front. You're valuing their expertise, asking them to teach you about their world. That builds genuine connection and goodwill, puts you top of mind later when you do have news.
It's like planting seeds long before you expect a harvest.
That's a perfect analogy, planting seeds.
Okay, so all this digital effort, the intentionality, the socializing, that's the foundation. But segment 4, we got to go with the limits, right? Digital only isn't always enough.
No, it often isn't. The sources are clear, occasional in-person meetings, still incredibly valuable.
So we're not saying ditch digital and go back to the old ways entirely.
Not at all. It's about strategic acceleration, using face-to-face time wisely. The sources suggest maybe aiming for like quarterly or even biannual meetings with your key primary contacts.
Key contacts. Not everyone.
Right. And the goal of popping up in person isn't to start the relationship from scratch. It's to take that rapport you've carefully built remotely and solidify it. Turn it into deeper trust, maybe even advocacy for your brand. It's an investment in their loyalty, not just a chance for a last-minute pitch.
Okay, so it deepens what's already there. What kind of in-person things work best then?
Well, it should feel valuable to them. Maybe a nice lunch if you're in their city anyway, or an invitation to actually tour your facility, meet some key executives, give them behind-the-scenes access.
Or maybe something more exclusive.
Yeah, like small, curated in-person retreats or briefings, high-level roundtable discussions for a select group. Make it feel special.
That makes sense. A video call gives you info, right?
Yeah.
But sharing an experience that builds camaraderie, creates actual memories.
Exactly, those shared sensory details. The food you ate, the tour, just being in the same physical space, it fosters a depth of connection that, let's be honest, video calls just can't fully replicate.
Yeah.
It creates memories that stick, and it reinforces that these relationships are with real, three-dimensional people, not just avatars on a screen.
So the big takeaway here is popping up in person sometimes doesn't cancel out the digital work. It actually boosts it.
It significantly enhances it, adds a layer of depth. It elevates the whole partnership from feeling maybe transactional sometimes to feeling truly collaborative.
It cements all that intentional effort you put in online.
Beautifully put, yes.
Okay, let's try and wrap this all up for you, the listener. This deep dive, it really shows that the future of media relations, it belongs to the people who get good at these virtual strategies. If we had to distill everything we talked about down to like 3 core ideas, it would be intentionality, trust building, and consistent communication.
The 3 pillars.
Yeah. You just can't rely on bumping into people anymore.
Yeah.
You have to proactively schedule those touch points.
Yeah.
You have to use the digital tools, Slack, Asana, video, to stay visible, stay connected.
So what does this all really mean for you? Well, building relationships remotely. It isn't about just trying to copy-paste the old ways onto a screen. It's really about embracing new ways of working that, frankly, force us to be better communicators.
Deliberate.
More deliberate, yeah. We have to focus more on those personal connections now. We have to think consciously about creating that psychological safety.
Okay.
Which leads me to maybe a final provocative thought for you to chew on as you start putting these strategies into practice.
Okay, leave us with something to think about.
Since remote work forces us to be so hyper-intentional, forces us to look for the human moments, to proactively ask for feedback, to build safety. Could it be that this very deliberate effort actually leads to stronger, more loyal, more robust media partnerships in the long run?
Stronger than the ones built on maybe just luck or chance encounters back in the day.
That's exactly. Stronger than those built on accidental meetings in a noisy newsroom. Something to mull over as you craft your own digital strategy.